a choice between we and yes. Do you want Cameroon to move from a federal system to a unity system? And the choice was between we and yes. So that there again was another, like our senior brother, late senior brother, to say nonsensical nonsense, because you cannot ask somebody to choose between we, which is yes in French, and yes, which is we in English.
My country people them. This one a very simple and very serious question. Ashu Emmanuel, is he just an ignorant fool or an evil liar? Because it not be normal for person where he call himself say he be barrister. I mean any person where he be ye age, where he get self-respect. He go on TV for my media prime. He should done amongst other people the way they go school, intellectuals them, and he talk this kind trash. That was just one of 3 fundamental categorical lies where this man talk him in a very short space of time for this live broadcast, this one live broadcast alone. When I listen, then I go talk at the end.
When you look at the federal constitution of the first, which is cited as the federal constitution of the 1st of September 1961, that constitution put in place a federal Republic of Cameroon that had a federal government and 2 federated state governments. The powers of the president of the Federal Republic were spelled out in Articles 5 to 15 of that constitution, and it also had miscellaneous provisions at the end. And when you go through the powers of the president, the powers of the federal legislature, the powers of the assemblies of the federated states, you will see that there is nowhere in that constitution that any mention is made of the word referendum. In fact, the legal minds, when they go through this constitution, ask themselves the question: where did President Ahidjo get the mandate, the power, the constitutional power to organize a referendum in Cameroon that will enable him set aside the federal constitution? And if we look at the provisions of that constitution, of the federal constitution of the 1st of September 1961, there is nowhere in that constitution where the president of the Federal Republic of Cameroon was authorized to organize a referendum. And we are saying that, going by that premises, it is something terrible, because we are celebrating what the law has not provided, because we have a constitution that was existing and from which the then president took his powers to organize a referendum. But unfortunately, that constitution does not seem to have given him the right and the powers to organize a referendum. So, Mr. Kum, I think that any person, any legal mind, or any politician who thinks that what I'm saying is not true should prove me wrong. From this constitution, which I have here, and I think I've made copies that I'll give Mr. Kum and the other panelists, there is nowhere inside this constitution where you will see the powers of the federal president, but that are spelled from section 5 to section 15.
Yes, that point has been made from the legal standpoint. But
yes.
What actually happened?
Now, what actually happened was that Cameroonians, when you look at the ballot papers that were sent out, the ballot papers bore a choice between we and yes. Do you want Cameroon to move from a federal system to a unity system? And the choice was between we and yes. So that there again was another, like our senior brother, late senior brother, to say nonsensical nonsense, because you cannot ask somebody to choose between we, which is yes in French, and yes, which is we in English.
But senior barrister, I've had at least 3.
Because since, as I said, in the constitution there was no provision for a referendum. Normally when there is a referendum, it is supposed to go back, because a referendum is a popular consultation, and popular consultations go back to the legislature for ratification. Now, since this one was not provided in the constitution, the results could have been taken to nowhere. You see, that is the other flaw. If the results of that referendum were taken to nobody, the Federal Assembly never saw it, the Federated State Assemblies never saw it. So we have a situation where Cameroonians just got up, they were asked to go to the polls, they went, and a result of, I think, 99 points.
Campaigns were not done?
Well, there were campaigns.
You say Cameroonians just got up and were asked to go to the polls?
Well, there were campaigns, national unity. Then I think I was in Lycée Bilingual Grammar School, Buya, and we actually saw campaigns. There were campaigns. People went around in caravans preaching the virtues of a unity state, to show that we were going to be real brothers, not the brothers who were one living in Jericho, the other one in South Africa. I mean, virtues of togetherness were preached and were made to understand that the unity state was going to bring us more development, because the federal system was being brandished as an expensive system that prevented the government from carrying out developmental projects. And so they were going out, leaving that system to go to one that was going to free more resources that will be used to develop the country.
Okay. Tifo Richard, I don't know whether that is exactly what happened.
First of all, let me try to correct something that the senior barrister mentioned there. The senior barrister made mention of the fact that there was a single ballot paper during the 1972 referendum. And you know, this is a platform where we try to educate Cameroonians. And if we want to tell Cameroonians what transpired, we should be able to tell them the truth of what really happened. You understand that I am one of the critics of the 1972 referendum, and I am also a critic of a unitary state.
Yes, because as SDF you are going for a federal structure.
Absolutely, and I'm also a member of the Cameroon Federalist groups and activists. So if what I'm saying does not mean that I'm endorsed the unitary state, but at least if we want to talk to Cameroonians, we should let them know what actually transpired. What happened is that there were two ballot papers. One carried the yes, and in translation, we. And the other carried the no, and in translation, no. And so Cameroonians were expected to choose one of these ballot papers and put it in an envelope and cast. So if you refuse to endorse the abolition of the federal system or refuse to endorse the unitary system, then you take the non ballot paper and put in the envelope. If you support it, you take the we yes ballot paper and you put in that. So what I see many people do with this, of course what the senior barrister is doing, is to isolate that ballot paper which says we yes, and they're brandishing it to say, oh no, this is the ballot paper and the only ballot paper that took place. I have had the opportunity to talk with eyewitnesses, people who participated in that referendum, people who are not politicians, I mean old fathers who participated in that referendum, and they have confirmed to me that they were actually two ballot papers. In fact, when I've also been to the archives in Boya, at Boya, the National Archives, and there also there is clear indication, you will find that there is indication that there were actually two ballot papers.
So when I don't hear Ashu Emmanuel talk, no be me I put the words for your mouth. He himself is stupefy himself by claiming, say, nowhere in that constitution it be get the word referendum. It claim say the constitution it no give President Amadou Ahidjo the powers for call a referendum. And the funniest thing I say, it won't come for that live broadcast. It actually print a copy of the federal constitution, bring them with you. Look at Article 2 of the federal constitution. It talks national sovereignty shall be vested in the Cameroonian people, which shall exercise such sovereignty either through its deputies in the Federal Assembly or by way of referendum. No section of the people nor any individual may assume the exercise thereof. The vote shall be equal and secret. All citizens who have attained the age of 21 years shall participate therein. It be simple for Article 2. The talk say no one person, even the President of the Republic, not get the powers for assume sovereignty of that country. The talk says sovereignty it belong to all Cameroonians, and they go exercise the power of their sovereignty through referendum or by electing their deputies and sending to the Federal Assembly. And when the Federal Assembly vote, they vote now on behalf of the people. That is how we exercise our sovereignty. And then it go on for talk saying any person will be above the age of 21 and you be Cameroonian citizen. Now you're right, because now you, all we together, we own the sovereignty of that country. It talk for the referendum. Now who else in the whole of that country go call a referendum for ask a basic question for the people them, so that make them exercise their constitutional right for exercise their sovereign power, for decide on the form of state, for decide on the future of the country. Now who else if you call the referendum? Who else? Remember say a government again at 3 arms, where they call them say 3 arms of government, where they're supposed to be independent from each other. You get the legislative branch, where they make the laws of the country. That one a parliament or the Federal Assembly. Then you get the executive branch, where now them they execute the laws and then they put in policies for run the country. That one now the president and the head of state. And then you get the judiciary branch of government, where now the courts, the judges, now them they interpret the law. So now if some person it go against you, or you think say some person don't go against the law, you feel take them go for court and you sue them, and then they go interpret the law, and then they go pass judgment for see whether it don't breach the law or not. So now the 3 arms of government, that the president, when at the head of the executive, now them they execute the laws. So the constitution, when number 1 law for country, the law of the land. Now the president, the head of state, your responsibility for execute, especially that one document. So if you get any question for asking people them, it go for that constitution. It see whosa way the constitution it give you the authority, and whosa way the constitution it end the authority. And besides, now who first write the constitution in the first place? Do you know Amadu Ahijo write them? That is the first question you have to ask yourself. Now who write them? Now President Amadu Ahijo. You write them. You pass them to Jongo Foncha, Endele Estimuna, and all the other delegations, and even the British authorities. Them they examine the document, and they all agree on the document. Then you take that document, go back for the sovereign parliament of the people of the Republic of Cameroon. They vote them into law. It become the law of the Republic of Cameroon, and then now it then bind the one territory and the one republic together on the 1st of October 1961. Now the document that way it formed that country, the Federal Republic of Cameroon. Now, another thing where Ashu Emmanuel talk where not just blatant lie, the usual Ambazuna terrorist propaganda where they talk say for 1972 they will get now only 1 ballot paper, we and yes. I mean, come on. How stupid do you have to be to repeat that nonsense? I mean, it will be such a childish and stupid statement for making for the way. Now even one of the panelists, a correctly right there and there, as I don't hear the presentation, a correctly it tell you say it don't do research about this topic, and it don't talk to people the way they be there alive, where they participate in the actual referendum for 1972. There were 2 ballot papers, and besides that, think about this for yourself. Just use your own common sense. 1972. So we not even ask John Gofoncha them, Estimuna them, because they died in the 1990s. But Akremuna they are alive. And all man where they above the age of 70 today, it be they alive for that referendum, maybe it be even vote. Una ask them now, they will tell una. Why are we even talking about this as if there's some ancient history where it be happen in a distant time where we not be even fit know. So for some person, if you can't repeat that kind stupid comment, it means that this person is bad belly. I mean, I'm beginning to think it is not just evil. It's not just even lying. The man is just an idiot. He's just stupid. For the woman, you be so stupid and so dull, where you know fit even just ask a basic question before you can stupefy yourself in public. You for ask. All those people then, like Molan Joli Tumbe, they die at the age of 90 something, where it means that they be there in their 40s. At the time of the referendum for 1972, they could have told you, Professor Fonlon, Cardinal Tumi them, Medium Frunti them, they voted in the referendum. When I don't ever hear any of them complain, no person, it never ever complained about the 1972 referendum. They wait now until 1994, 95, SCNC, time where they don't remove them out of government, out of power, out of influence. Now that time, suddenly, Anglophones, they want to revisit 1972. Life does not work that way. And now why the way John Gofoncha never ever talk nothing about what will be happening for 1972 or Endele or Estimuna, because they are the ones who wanted to abolish the federation. They are the ones who wanted it. As the other analysis, the other panelists, you can't do the analysis when I hear it explain them. So now just the basic simple lies of this, and then imagine if now some person where they call himself a barrister, person where they on TV, person where he be educated, he talk this kind of lies. What hope do we have for the average Okada rider, the truck pusher, the farmer, the small teacher for primary school? They go believe this kind of quacks, this kind of idiots, whether they talk publicly, they go believe them. And that is why we get Ambazonia terrorism today, because of these lies, relentless, calculated manipulation, misinformation, lies, ignorance, stupidity. Now you don't land we who's away with day today with Ambazonia terrorism. My country people then, another lie or ignorant statement where Ashu Emmanuel a talk now say the referendum it went nowhere. It say after the referendum, and then they did not take the result of the referendum to the Federal Assembly. They did not take it to the West Cameroon House or the East Cameroon House. When I say I'm now, maybe all we're not supposed to start to pay school fees for me. We're not supposed to just gather all that school fees where una papa they be pay for una for go school. Una get to go collect una school fees back, can't pay for me. Make her educate una about something. A referendum, it did just give an opinion of the people. The referendum was to seek the consent of the people to change the form of state, to get their opinion. What do you think about this? Do you want us to change from federation to unitary state? You say yes or you say no. You get the opinions of the people. By virtue of that referendum, no form of state was changed. The referendum itself did not change the form of state. Where I don't already explain and for say government again now 3 branches. You get the executive where they execute the laws, you get the judiciary when they interpret the laws, then you get the legislative branch when them being the lawmakers, now them they write the law, they debate the law, and now them they vote the law. For Cameroon, we will get what they call them say the Federal Assembly. Now them be charged with making the laws of the federation. When I talk about federation, I mean the nation, the Federal Republic of Cameroon. So there was only one way for cancel the federal form of state. It was by amending the federal constitution for change the name of the country, for change the form of government in the country, and for give more powers to the president. There was only one way to do it, was to rewrite the federal constitution, was to amend the constitution. And the constitution was written by a specific group of people, our deputies or our delegates or our members of representatives, where we elect them, send them for the Federal Assembly, okay? Those are the people, the lawmakers. And now the only people then that way they get the powers to for amend the constitution, okay? The constitution, it gives powers equally to the president and to the Federal Assembly for write new laws for country. But after you don't write new law, where it means that you initiate the process for write a new law, then the law now or the document it not being a law just because you write them. No, it get to go now to the Federal Assembly. The deputies they go look at the law where you write them. They go then debate on the law. They go make amendments or recommendations on the law, and then they go vote on the law. If it pass, then they go send them again to the president. The president will sign them before it become law. If the president is veto, where it means that it deny you for sign them, then the law will go back to parliament or to the Federal Assembly. The Federal Assembly will vote on the law again. If it get supermajority, then it becomes law, whether the president like them or not. Now the system that, okay, 3 arms of government: the legislative, the executive, and the judiciary. Now, like I be talk, the federal constitution it be changed, and a new unitary constitution it was brought into force for 1972. We will celebrate the 20th of May because now the day that way they will get the referendum, but that's not when the law was made. The law was written by President Ahmadu Ahidjo, yes, but it was submitted to the Federal Assembly for examination, for deliberation, for their consent, and for their vote. And remember, say, until the unitary constitution it become law, the federal constitution it will be law. For 1972, they will get 20 deputies from West Cameroon inside the Federal House of Assembly, and we will get 80 from East Cameroon. So we will get 100 members in the Federal Assembly, 20% from West Cameroon. I hope so that one be clear. And for the federal constitution, they be written for the plain and simple Article 47. It talks it. Any amendment or change to the federal constitution, it must get a majority of the vote from the members of each of the federated states. Make I repeat them. Before una want change the federal constitution, you must get a majority of the deputies from West Cameroon. They agree to the change. You must also get the majority of the deputies from East Cameroon. They agree to the change. So when President Ahmadu Ahidjo be table the unitary constitution for Federal Assembly, we for West Cameroon we get 20 members. If just 11 of those members they will vote against the unitary state, then it would have been impossible for cancel the federation. Understand that? That is the veto power where we for West Cameroon be get them in the federal constitution. So the federation it will be cancelled because politicians them from West Cameroon, where we be elect them, send them for go represent we for Federal Assembly, they be vote in favor of dismantling the federal constitution and adopt the unitary constitution where we use them today. So make una no blame President Ahmadu Ahidjo. Una no blame Francophones them. Una blame the West Cameroon representatives the way we be vote them, send them for go represent we. Even if you think say the population where they be vote for 20th of May 1961 referendum, they don't be educated, they don't know where they do. If you think so, fantastic, that's your opinion. But Those people, they will just give their opinion, say they want to cancel the federal form of government and bring in a unitary form of government. That was their opinion. But the people, the way they actually examine the law, they deliberate on the law, they debate the law, and they vote them into law, na parliament, na the federal assembly, na the educated ones them, na the ones where we elect them, send them for go represent we. They are the ones who changed the constitution, not the average person will be vote for the referendum. So when you hear this quack, Ashu Emmanuel, he can't talk publicly, disgracefully, they talk say the referendum, it went nowhere, it was not looked at in the assembly, it was not now stupidity. How then was the new constitution created or written or debated or voted for? How? Who voted for it? What was the process? How was the federal constitution abolished and a new constitution brought into force? How did they do it if they did not go to the federal assembly? Common sense, it tells you that it was all done by the assembly. Simple. Now, common sense. Okay? So, the question what I bring on for now not time for you to make up your own mind. You don't hear what the way Ashu Emmanuel talk, and you don't get the common sense where even the other co-panelists bring them into the picture, it debunk one of his stupid comments, and the other two comments, the other two lies the way talk and with me, I don't make them clear for you to understand them now. Now you get the opportunity for make up your mind. Is Ashu Emmanuel just an ignorant fool or na some evil liar? Because either way, whether na ignorance or na foolishness or na evil or na the lies and manipulation, all of these things they contribute to bringing us Ambazonia terrorism where we get them today. That is a fact. So we need for bring back sanity. We need for bring the kind of people the way they get credibility, where they even get small common sense, where they even get small shame for talk. Make sure that they do their research so that when they talk, they articulate for the way our population go learn something at the end of the discussion. So I call on the people them like the journalists, like Mr. Com Leonard, and other people the way they get platforms where they talk and what people they listen to them. Do not bring these kind of useless, empty head talking heads where they can't spew out gibberish and nonsense, where it help for further alienate we from the truth, where it help for further confuse the Anglophone population. Because right now, what's our way we dey and our people them, the Anglophones them, we dey in a very uncertain situation because the people the way we be trust them for can't tell with the truth as our leaders them. They can't lie for we instead, like the John Good Funcha, the ST Muna. Okay? They go for America, come back with flag. Can't talk, say United Nations, they can't open the decolonization file. These are the kind of lies that brought us Ambazonia terrorism. And they have to end. The journalists and all the people, the way they get platforms, you have a role to play. These kind of quacks should not be anywhere near your programs. I know they talk, say, make we totally silence them. But you as a journalist as well, you need to do your own homework. And your co-panelists as well, do your homework. Just like how the other man, Mr. Nandifo or Nandikum, he debunked the other lie where Ashu Emmanuel begin talk and say they began only one ballot paper, we and yes. He debunked him right there and there. For your face, for Ashu Emmanuel face. And Ashu Emmanuel couldn't say anything. Till the rest of the end of the program, Ashu Emmanuel, no comeback, can't repeat that way and yes nonsense. Because they tell you the truth for your face and he could not defend it because he either knows say it be the lie or he was woefully misinformed. Not misinformed, he's ignorant, not just an idiot. Because if you don't know something, why you can't talk? You hear some person talk, you can't repeat them. You know, do your research. Are you a fool? So my country people them. I know they talk say make journalists they silence this kind of people. They may not open their platforms for them. But you as a journalist and co-panelists, do your job at Bekuna. Hold these kind of people their feet to the fire. But not just say these kind of people they can't talk plenty lies the way it not be possible for debunk all of them in one sitting. And now why the way I do this kind of presentation because we need to take our time for debunking. At least the other co-panelists it take it time it debunk one of the lies. And the other co-panelists, it debunked the other lies the way Ashu Emmanuel talk am. But this particular two, as a maker, bring them out for una. The one where Eddie talk say the referendum did not go to the assembly, a big fat lie, or at least the man be so ignorant and foolish where he don't know what they talk about. And the one where they talk say the constitution and not be give the president the powers for President Amadou Ahidjo for call on a referendum. That's just, I mean, it just tell me say Ashu Emmanuel don't know how to read. Is that what he's saying? Say he don't know how to read. Which way they teach you for class 1? A, B, K, D. He don't know how to read. Article 2, it talk for day. And also, if the panelists and the host, journalists, and all these other people, they actually get a copy of the Constitution because Ashu Emmanuel printed a copy of the Constitution, bring them for that show. Now, the funny thing that if they even know the Constitution themselves before they go talk about this thing, they would have just opened it to page 1 of that Constitution and show you Article 2. That thing then for page 1 of the Federal Constitution, show you Article 2. Tell you, say, listen, that is where President Amadou Ahidjo got his powers from. So stop misleading our people. You bring this document for year, use yourself, but you never read them. Use yourself. What nonsense is this? So my country people, them, like I be talk, I ask a simple question. You make up your mind. Is Ashu Emmanuel just an ignorant fool, or is the man just an evil liar? I rest my case. You are the jury. You decide. My country people, them.
They came with fire. They came with guns. Now we they cry for our daughters and sons. Our villages burn, our people flee. We live in fear, no place to be. This one a scam, we never start. Now pain and sorrow, they tear us apart. But the nation call with open hands. DDR, go help us stand. From the grip of fear and blood, we go rise again with God. Hey, 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 then come, come, massa. We the Cameroonians, we pledge our loyalty. Come, come, massa. Come, massa. You shall free our land from terror. Come, 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 massa, massa, eh. Your blessing go shine like stars above, and the Most High God shall be your guide, shall be your guide. Children when no go school, ghost town, stone market to tomb. They promise freedom, bring us chains, but now we rise to break that pain. We say no more to blood and hate. We choose the path to a peaceful state. My country people talk I'm true. Say peace go start with me and you. Cries from the grass fields, our mothers born picking for bush. No hospital, no midwife touch. Kidnap and ransom, don't turn to law. Even church no safe, them break God's door. Our future they lost for gun and fear. Young boys forced to kill their peers. Amba say na freedom fight, but now we they suffer day and night. Let the drums of peace be loud. Let our mothers dance, make our fathers proud. From Banenda to Bua town, we go wear a green, red, yellow crown. Hey, 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 ding, kong, kong, massa. We the Cameroonians, we play.